Oh man, what's going on, all you lovely people out there? How you all doing? Got another one. We're a little late. We're a little late. Sorry
Okay.
when you're just watching this today. We're a little late. Had some technical difficulties and everything like that. We won't get much into that. But
Yeah.
how's it going, old man Jay? How you
It's
doing?
doing great. Just doing great. It's hot. Um, we're in I think it's over 100 today here in Georgia. So,
Mm, don't miss it.
uh, oh my God, it's horrible. But no, I'm doing great. All is well, and I hope everybody out there is doing well as also. Um, I'm ready to get started.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure you are because these whippersnappers don't know what it was back then. The 12 feet of
That's
snow,
right.
and then. But we're talking about this is gonna be a good comparison because we're talking about sports, fame, money, and tragedy today. So
That's
I mean, you want to go ahead and do the jump up because I'm sure you're gonna be like, well, back in my day, the sports were X, Y, and
oh
Z.
yeah,
They were so
absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. Okay, first topic, boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing today and boxing yesterday. I'm
Okay.
talking back when I was boxing.
Back when you were
Not
about.
when I was boxing, but
I mean,
when
they
I was
didn't. If
watching
back when you were
boxing.
boxing, I'm pretty sure they didn't have gloves, and you guys were just like, just.
Bare knuckles, baby. Bare
Mm-hmm.
knuckles. Oh, no, but it's a big difference boxing today than it was when I was growing up. Um, I think it's I'm not saying the techniques are still there, the stuff, but it's it's more powder puff now in a sense than back in the day. Back in the day, you went 20 rounds, or that's unheard of today. It's just I'm not saying I saw a 20-round fight, but I'm in that era right before it started going to like 15 15 rounds. That's unheard of now. I mean, you think about the endurance you had to have for the fight 15 rounds compared to today, they go what, 5, 10,
I would
10 rounds?
I would say the fact that it's people are more athletic, they're stronger, faster. They, excuse me. There's a particular person that grew up that came around in the middle, well, the tail end of your era, the beginning of my era. Iron Mike. I'm pretty sure. I'm
Hold on.
pretty
Mike
sure.
is in my era. Mike is not your.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
All right.
sure that's a main reason why a lot of people weren't going 20 rounds.
Well,
So setting the precedent, setting the precedent for boxers afterwards. Pretty sure that's a strong indication of why.
well, I would classify Mike in my era.
Of course you would.
but,
You got to hang on to some
but,
kind of glory, huh?
but no, even without Mike, you can have Mike. You can take Mike. The thing is, the rules that they got in place now. I mean, I mean, I think I've heard maybe a couple people dying, but back in the day, people died in the ring. That happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't see that because all of the things they have in place now. Back in the day, they went longer. They had less pads in their gloves. Um, I mean, I'm pretty sure back then as well they had the little tricks, the little things to get an advantage. It's and I see that in all the sports. Not just boxing.
Well,
I,
before hold on. There's okay. There's two things I want to say. There's one other person that is his whole
don't
thing
talk about
is
Floyd.
his whole
Don't
thing
talk.
is built on showmanship and just doing
Don't
what
talk about
you
Floyd.
already know where I'm going with that. So
Don't talk.
when you're saying don't talk about him, it's like he's another staple of boxing, right? He's the one you're talking about. Oh, people don't go the distance anymore. Like he's the only one I know that sits there and doesn't get hit and takes his opponent to the distance. Granted, however you might feel about it, about the fight or whatever the case may be, but you have your one offs
Floyd's a
that
great
still.
fighter.
You have your one-offs that still do what they need to do, but most of the time people are bigger, faster. They're not trying to do the endurance matches. They're trying to get in, knock you out, and get their money and get on. And also, there is a big thing called MMA. I don't know if maybe if you've heard of that, but that's also kind of why the decline of boxing is kind of coming around as well. That MMA, that stuff where there's no pads anymore, and
Oh,
so you arm barring and knocking people out on the mat, breaking arms
that's
and
right.
stuff like.
Kicks and
Yeah.
all that. Oh yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Um, I get. You have a point. I can't take that away. MMA that that changed the game too, but boxing is pretty much the same. I mean, boxing is boxing.
Hmm.
You know, now Floyd. You can. I'm not taking anything away from Floyd. Floyd is the best boxer. One of the best boxers ever. His technique and all that. But the showman was Muhammad Ali. He got all that from Muhammad Ali because Muhammad Ali kind of set the stage of how to bring people to the arena. To either they're gonna love you or they're gonna hate you enough to watch, to pay to see you lose.
Hmm.
And that's what Ali did. So Floyd is not doing anything new when it comes to showmanship, but Floyd does show it in the ring. So I have to give you credit. Yeah, Floyd. That Floyd
Mm, he is doing things new because there's more, once again, technology and things
technology,
around
media.
media.
Yeah,
He is doing things that I don't know if Muhammad would have done in his era by inviting other people from other sports into the ring with him. And even then, I know it might be just a spectacle, but that's something that
that's
you
right.
don't
That's
see
right.
very often. Like, oh, let me go
That's right.
invite this mixed martial artist to come box me for for a set amount of rounds. You got two people from different spheres coming in, and now you have other athletes, and this is because it pertains to boxing. I actually just saw this the other day. Adrian
Right.
Peterson is stepping into the boxing ring to box. I forgot who it was. It was another football player. They're both stepping in. It was Adrian Peterson and Le'Veon Bell. That's who it was. They're both stepping into the ring to box. So, like I said, you're getting people from other sports getting into the ring that you really
Yeah,
wouldn't see.
Remember that NBA player that went in the ring
Yeah,
and got knocked out,
yeah.
got
So
knocked out the first round. So it could be a good thing or a bad thing. But back in the day, they wouldn't have never crossed.
right.
They wouldn't have never made that leap into the boxing ring because think one thing about a fighter and football or any other sport, man, you're fighting for your livelihood. I mean, you're going in the ring mano a mano with another man or another woman in these days and times in the ring and saying, "This is how I eat. If I don't win, I don't eat." And I think that you got to take your hats off to people in that profession because those are true fighters. Somebody I'm just saying I admire the fighters because that's how they make a living. That's
Hmm.
their career. It's not a glamour. It could be glamorous, but it's a. I've seen the end result of fighters over fighting for so long. What becomes so. I it wouldn't be something I want to put my hat on to say I want to do to make a living, but I appreciate the sport. I
Hmm.
appreciate the sport. But no, I think you got a valid point with Floyd, and I would give you Mike Tyson, which is kind of in our era, but I'll let you have it. But we got a lot of greats before that, that were awesome, and it's just is a lot of things in place so that the injuries and the end result that they have don't happen to the ones now in your era because they can't handle it.
I wouldn't say it's a matter of can't handle it. It's a matter of, once again, science and technology being like, oh, we can
That's right.
identify these problems. Here's why these
That's right.
people doing X, Y, and Z. Concussions and everything like
That's
that
right.
from
Right.
boxing alters the person's personality.
That's
So
right. That's
yeah,
right.
it ain't so much can't handle it. It's more so we keeping y'all safe. You know.
That's right. That's right. No, no, and something has to be done because look, it, a lot of those fighters died young. A lot of those guys died young, but it was entertaining. And like I said, my hat goes off to any and all fighters out there who do that for a living. That you're fighting to eat in
Right.
a sense. So my hat's off to you.
Okay.
So now my sport.
No, this ain't a just your sport. This is our sport. First of all, before you even say anything, it's like this ain't a nope. Mm-mm. Go ahead, man. You got the floor because I
Oh,
you know I'm
yeah,
about to
no,
you
no, the
know I'm about
sport
to.
I appreciate the sport because I played it. I boxed a little bit, but not to the point where I had to make a living. And I don't make a living from playing football as well. But I really enjoyed it when I played.
Mm-hmm.
With no, we didn't have face masks. We had the
Yeah,
leather
yeah,
helmet,
you had the leather
tie
helmet.
strap.
Yeah, yeah, you
That's
had
right.
all. Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, but that is totally power to puff now compared to back in the day.
As far as the
It,
hits,
it, it,
maybe, but
oh yes, absolutely.
there's still
The
people
hit.
out there getting just destroyed on a regular basis. I mean, there's highlight videos on YouTube about that now from this era. people people getting hit.
The only reason why you can see them is because of technology. There were major hits like that back in the day, but you just didn't have it televised
Hey, whose
like
fault
it
is
is
that?
now.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? You playing in the
So,
wrong era.
what about the quarterbacks? What about the quarterbacks?
What about the
Hey,
quarterbacks? I mean,
hey, back
the
in the
whole
day,
thing.
back in the day, quarterback had hit every play.
Yeah,
They got hit.
but here's the thing: everybody started to realize that the quarterback is the most important person
Is
on the
what?
team. Most important person on the team.
No,
So
hey,
and they're the
everybody
big
on the
draw,
field
and they're the big draw. So there's not a whole lot you could tell me to just prove that the quarterback's not the biggest draw when you think of professional teams in football. They're like, who's the first
No,
person you
they've
think
been
of?
made to be the biggest draw.
But who's the first
They've
person you
been
think?
made.
Who's the first person you think of when you think about football teams? I'll wait. Who's first person without thinking about it? Who's the first person you think about when you think about football teams? Oh, that's that. You will. Oh man, you lying.
No,
You
no. What
lying.
about running back? Okay, back in the day, the running backs were the main.
That's because the game was different back then. The
That's
game
right. That's
the
right.
game was it was all about the ground game because people didn't know you could air it out until certain coaches came in there and changed the game.
But that's in my era. That's not in your
You
era.
finally
That's
figured
not in
it
your
out.
era.
You
That's not in
you
your
finally
era.
figured it out, and then we came up with the quarterbacks that became legendary at that point.
Oh no, y'all carry the quarterbacks that protected. The quarterback, you can't touch the quarterback. Oh, you bumped into the quarterback. Oh, that's a flag. Come on. Come on. I remember when every play, even the ball was released, that lineman then went, the defensive line made it through.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting hit. He was going to get
And
hit. He knew it.
they still
But
get
he
hit.
knew it.
However, the window is smaller. They still get hit. The window is smaller, and they lowered the trajectory because they didn't. Once again, the quarterback brings in the money, so you can't tell me that the change
Okay.
hasn't been that much. I'll tell you that right now.
Yes, has. Because you think about this. You think
Mm-hmm.
about this.
Mm-hmm.
When you got the stress on your offensive line to stop this defense from hurting your quarterback. If your quarterback gets hit too many times, that's going to change the game. That's going to change how he plays.
Man, the quarterback can
That's
get
going.
hit. However, you got to
Oh
change.
no, no,
No, no, no,
no,
no.
no,
Listen, listen,
no,
listen.
no,
The
no,
quarterback
no.
can get hit. It's up to the coordinators to adjust according to what's going on. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. But no, no, they got the officials there too because
They want to
let's say,
protect the quarterback because they're the biggest draw in this era. You can't tell me that that's not the case.
listen,
You can't tell me that's not the
it
case.
is. It's been made that. It's been made that
Because
way.
everybody wants to see points scored. I'm sorry. Do you want to sit through a 10-3 football game and just like I know that y'all would? You sit there and just take a nap and then wake up with 30 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
You think about that. You think about a game like that. One play, somebody makes one mistake, that team can lose. That team can lose. They can have that game. They can be 10.
Nobody wants to see that now. You may be the one outlier. Nobody wants to see that now. Everybody wants to see points scored. Everybody wants to see the highlight plays. The people getting mossed. The people getting juked out the ankles.
So you say tie the hands of one side so that
that's what they're doing.
So the other side have an advantage.
That's what they're doing.
So people.
That's what they're doing. Did you not see the rule changes over the years?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I mean, that's what,
you can't tell me.
Soon they'll have flags. Soon they'll have flags hanging on either side of the
nah, they won't ever do that.
they
already have flag football league for that.
Well, it's getting there. It's getting and another. What about the receivers? You talk about all this. Receivers got gloves that you can throw anything and they can hold it. It's not going to let you drop the ball. And I'm telling you
that's a technology thing.
That's cheating.
That's cheating. That's a technology thing. What are you talking about?
Back in the day, the records that these young people are trying to break came from people who didn't have all
Jerry
that.
Rice had gloves on. What are you talking about?
Jerry Rice didn't have gloves on like that.
But he had gloves on.
He had gloves
if he played his whole career, if he played his whole career without gloves, I'd give you that. But he had gloves on, so you can't sit there. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, they put the gloves on the person who did."
Well, he didn't have those NFL gloves.
They were still NFL gloves. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the gloves that you can't drop anything. I mean,
you really trying to make an argument about the gloves?
I'm telling you, technology has changed the game where you see these catches that these guys used to make with their bare hands. These guys making a big, people want to make a big deal about it when they do it with these gloves on. When the gloves literally doing all the work, only thing I have to do is put your hand out there, the ball stick right to it, and be like, bam.
You still have to make a concentrated catch, even if you're getting hit trying to make that one-handed catch. I understand. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but I guarantee you, if you put the same person in that situation, they're not gonna make. You just sit there and put your hand out. They're not gonna make that catch. You still gotta focus and grab onto the ball.
That's true too, but I mean, if the ball's not going to move after you touch it, if you focus and put your hand on it, it's not going to move.
They got paws. That's why you do the measurements at the draft, right? You measure the wide receiver's hands. You see those wide receivers' big hands.
That's right. So the gloves have more area to catch with the glove.
It's not like you upset because you didn't grow up in the right era. That's what that sounds like.
Now you're tying the cornerbacks. You tie their hands. That you can't touch them here, you can't do this, or you hit. It's. I can see why that other groups of people think they can play football, NFL football, because it's that watered down.
It's that watered down because let's not forget that the people in your era decided to bring a lawsuit against the NFL because of all the injuries they sustained. Let's not forget that. All the people that played in your era talk about, I'm hurt. Let's sue the NFL. So now the NFL takes precautionary measures to make sure that doesn't happen again. So therefore, you are the blame, sir. Your era is to blame.
No. I think
your era is to blame, sir.
It's not that. I think it goes further back because a lot of times, you correct me if I'm wrong. You play Bantam. You play from a young kid up to that level. Very few people play just myself. I play backyard football. Dirt. No lines. You just go out there and you just play a game. But a lot of kids play for a long time, so they be getting these licks since they were developing as a child. So now, by the time you get to the NFL, look how many times you've been hit or your brain has been rattled
Uh-huh.
in a situation like that. So I'm not thinking of it as an NFL issue.
I
I'm
mean,
thinking of is when this thing is starting, when kids are starting to
mhm,
play,
mhm.
how that over a long period of time affects them,
Right,
not just
but
playing in the NFL.
because of your generation complaining about all the hits you took, college, NFL, whatever.
That's right.
Now they take precautionary measures to make sure people are safer on the field. Now you're like, oh, well, this isn't what we want to watch and see and everything like that. Well, I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So, what you gonna do?
Okay. The lawsuits. I'm looking at lawsuits as this. Let let's address the issues. Let's see what we could do to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of the issues with that is the fact that they're trying to act like it's not because of that. That these people have these issues, and it's not because of the constant concussions,
Mm-hmm.
and which I, it's kind of
Go ahead.
hard
Go
not to
ahead.
think. It's kind of hard not
Go
to think
ahead.
that's not it's not the reason. But
Go ahead. You'll get there. We're waiting. You'll get there.
but but I hope if that's the case,
Mm-hmm.
the game has changed to compromise and prevent less of those issues.
Mm-hmm.
But why hasn't that been settled if they feel that you have to make these adjustments, but you're still not compensating the people who have been affected by it?
Now, as far as the back end portion,
Mm-hmm.
I know that they stated they set up a fund to help
Mm-hmm.
y'all. They set up a fund to help
Well, but
the
because
the
hey,
you know
they're gonna be just fine.
the
They're gonna be
dirt.
just fine. The powder puff teams, they're gonna be just
They
fine.
stated they set up a fund that and then I want to make sure that I'm stating this correctly from what I
Right.
read. They set up a fund that the retirees can draw from as far as medical that they can use.
Medical. Okay,
Um,
that's great. That's a start, I guess.
that was the most recent thing I know. I don't know if they did anything after
Mhm.
that, but I remember reading an article specifically about that, how they were going to set up a universal fund for the
Fine.
retirees. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. I
but
mean,
at the end of the day, if you, look, you can't sit there and complain about, oh, now the game's high score and everything like that, but you want to sit you want to get up, you don't want
I don't
you don't want
mind.
the people
I don't
complaining.
mind,
Oh, now you
but I
don't
don't
mind.
mind.
Now
I
you
don't
don't
mind
mind.
high scoring. But
Mhm.
why are you gonna tie one side's hands and leave it over to another
because
end?
everyone wants to see the highlight plays, man. This is not 1900s anymore. ESPN, everybody wants to see the highlight plays. They want to see the high scoring games where it comes down to a touchdown or a
Yeah.
field goal. They got to run the 2 minute and get down to kick the field goal to win the game, go to the playoffs, whatever the case may be. Like, that's what everybody
Yeah.
wants to see now.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people got serious injuries from the old school way of playing things because the horse collar tackle
Mm-hmm.
and but I see these guys, the running backs, stiff arm a guy to the turf,
Mm-hmm.
and but if that same defensive guy came up and put his hands against his face mask, they're gonna throw a flag. See, I mean,
They only throw it if they see you close your hand.
oh,
They only throw it if they see you close your hand. A running back is able to do that as long as they're not closing their hand. If as soon as they close their hand, they're going to flag them for a face mask. They call it both ways. They call it both ways, sir. I've seen it. I've seen it where they call it both
But
ways.
Okay,
So
okay. I might stand corrected on that, but
so
say,
it all depends on the what goes on during the play, because they will call it, like I said, they changed that rule for the horse collar a couple
oh
years, like
yeah,
a couple years back, because
yeah,
somebody got horse
yeah.
collared and they broke their leg or
Horsepower
something
back.
like that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a dangerous. Yeah, they need to
So
fix that. That,
so yeah,
but you watch the old highlights. They did that all the time.
yeah, because no,
They
they didn't
did.
have a rule against it because everybody was just like, oh,
That's
this
right.
is the way it is. You
Hey,
know,
hey, you
you,
play. You get on the field.
you know, you old people, oh,
You
this the
come to
way,
play.
this
You
the
come
way
to
it
play.
is. You get the way
This
it
is the
is,
way
but then
it
you get
is.
done, you were like, dang, I should have. We need to go get our money. We hurt and beat
That's
up.
right. I mean that's true. But you know what? You know what? I mean, for the
Mm-hmm.
older players, the
Mm-hmm.
players back in my generation, it's kind of sad because they were very entertaining, and the ones are now as well. But what I'm saying is the amount of money they make now compared to back then,
Yeah.
man, and what they had to go through, that's why they can stay in the league so long. It's because of all the rules that have been in place. These guys, you
Well,
know,
not even just the rules, but you have more revenue. You have more eyes on your league compared
that's
to
right.
how it
That's right.
was in your era in the
Technology.
the 1910s. Um, all
Yeah,
the stations blew up over time, and they
that's
started getting the Monday night deals, and now they're having stuff on Amazon. So
right.
the NFL's a
Yeah,
billions and $1 billion company, like multi
yeah,
billions. So
yeah.
that money is
So
going to be there for the players now.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Advertisement. People got pride. It's worldwide now. It's a totally different ball game. So I get that, but not. But it's a big difference. You. I mean, you have to admit,
Oh, I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm saying
you
the
have to be
difference
tough.
between then and now. I mean, you still have to be tough now. Like
So no, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But
there
it's a
there there's people that have played hurt and just shot up on painkillers and everything like that, and then they have issues once they get out of the league. They're addicted to
you
painkillers
got to
because
lay. That's
they
right.
gotta be tough instead of just
Tough.
instead of because their team needs them. The star, they're one of the
That's right.
star players.
Right. So yeah, yeah. I mean that's true, but it is a difference. There is a difference. So you think? Have you watched an old football game
The
from
last
maybe? Yeah. What's the oldest football
the
game you ever
the
watched?
last ones I saw that I can remember. I mean, yes, they have the highlights. That they
Right.
try
Right.
to
Right.
recreate, well, not recreate, but from what they had as
Struggle.
far as limited recording, because
Right.
your technology wasn't all that great back
Oh
then.
yeah. It might
Uh,
have been black and white. It might have been black.
I've seen a couple of highlights from the old games, like the old
Right.
Chicago Bears, where they had the goalposts in front of the end zone.
Go.
Yeah,
That's right. That's
I've
right.
seen those. I think the most recent, the ones that I can vividly recall were the old school 49ers, Cowboys, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
boys. That's
Yeah,
right.
like in the
That era. That's
Giants.
right.
That's the
Yeah.
stuff that I
Yeah.
can remember.
Okay.
I've vaguely seen like maybe the Terry Bradshaw games every here,
That's right. Oh
Lynn
yeah.
Swan, all
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stuff.
That's one.
So
Okay. Yeah. You
I've
know
seen,
some names.
yeah, I know some, yeah, yeah, like I said, this is my element.
That's right. And so, but yeah, those games, those were some awesome games. And you know, I'm not saying you don't have those games now,
Mhm.
but it's different. I mean, you see the quarterback making throws, and they see this guy, somebody like Lawrence Taylor, or somebody coming around the end, and they know they're going to get hit. They know it, but they know they got to make the play. Today, shoot, they sit back there. I could be a quarterback in the NFL.
No, you
You
couldn't.
know,
No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't,
I,
because these quarterbacks in the NFL now are built different. Like they're throwing the
yeah, yeah,
ball,
yeah. That's
what,
right.
70, 80, almost 90 yards
Oh yeah.
downfield, cannons for
But
arms, more
with
mobile.
that kind of protection, man, I mean, it'd be hard.
on a running play, throwing it. I'm pretty sure have you even heard of Patrick Mahomes? Like, you seen what this man is Houdini. This,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I see him. Yeah,
and
yeah.
and the staple
He's fun to
of
watch.
running quarterbacks before, well, right after what Cunningham,
Vic,
I was saying Cunningham, Michael Vick. That
Michael
man
Vick,
just changed the
Michael
game.
Vick.
This is like,
Oh yeah, he changed the game. He changed the game. He changed the game.
so it wouldn't have
Mike.
mattered if you had LT back there trying to. He would have just blew past him.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Right?
Have you seen the Vic highlights?
Oh yeah, I seen him.
You seen when he.
See the games. I seen.
I mean, you're in that area, so I
That's
mean,
right. That's right. I seen it. I seen it. I seen that. He changed the game. He did. He did. So, but yeah, yeah. I mean, there is a big difference. And basically with almost every sport. You talk about basketball. The old Detroit against, um, let's say Chicago Bears. With
oh,
Jordan.
the Bulls.
Man, the,
See,
huh?
the Bulls. You said,
Oh
come on,
yeah,
man, come on. See,
the
people gonna kill you in
Bulls,
the
the
comments for
Bulls, the
that.
Bulls, the
People gonna kill you in
Bulls,
the
the
comments for
Bulls.
that.
That's right, the Bulls. You know, those guys used to beat. Hey, I'm telling you, it was physical.
Yes,
I'm talking about. You now. I mean, it's a. I'm not downplaying it. It's a show now. It's just all about scoring. Um, and I mean, it was all about scoring then, but you didn't just come in the hole and just do a layup. Man, you come in the hole, you better bring it because they're gonna knock you out. They're gonna
they
knock you out.
they are trying to protect their marquee players. That's what that's about. They're protecting their marquee players who bring in the eyeballs and the revenue to the sport. You can't tell me I'm wrong on that.
No, you're right.
You
You're
can't
right.
tell me I'm
So it's
wrong on
all
that.
about. So everything is about the money now.
Yes. Everything is about the money now. The bottom line. What is the bottom line? Are we making a profit? Okay, well let's keep it rolling.
So this is what we've come down to now.
Hey
Is
man,
this
I don't run the
is this
sport.
enough?
I don't run the sport. I just read the tea leaves. I
So
just
so so it all circles back to money.
pretty much. Pretty much. You got more money in the pot, people making more money. Hey,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they may or may not care about the sport. I mean, I don't know. I'm not them. They
That's right. That's right.
so
But well, okay. Let's say okay. So as a young man, and I had the same thoughts of grandeur. Um, I'm gonna make it to the pros, and I'm gonna be rich. I can take care of everybody. I mean, is is that something that you think? I mean, we know the sport is all about the money.
mhm.
So the mindset of everybody getting into it is about money, or to the point where they lose focus of other things.
I wouldn't say it's a verbatim statement for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
People, have different. They some people want to chase greatness. They want to be great. They want to be
That's right.
remembered for
That's right.
generations down the road. People are like, oh, you seen player X do this, and this, talking about their highlights, 20 years from now.
That's right.
But some people are like they say in the NFL, it's just a business. So they're
Yeah,
there.
that's right. That's right.
It's just a business. So
Make that money.
get your
Yeah, yeah.
money, do what you got to do, and get out.
Well, maybe a lot of times uh, it wasn't a business, but they realize
That
once they
too.
get to a certain point,
That too.
it's a business. Yeah, if it's entertainment. Um, so so when people like, I know when you're in poverty or if you want to be rich, and you know school, things like that. I'm talking about school as education. If you got any kind of athletic ability, you automatically go to athletics
Hmm.
as the way out.
Right.
Um, I can understand that because you think you have some control over that. You have some way of, uh, say, well, if I get better at this, if I do better at that, education is not quite that clear cut. I mean, it's
Mm,
and like you said, you got people now. I see it more now that if you make good grades, you get the support that you need because I know I support um, youth that if they're doing good in school, I
mm,
like to encourage them and nurture that. But you get that from everybody when you're in athletics. You know, they don't even have to know you. They just know that you're a good player. You did this, and they want to do something for you. They
mm.
they they want to, you know, give you help. They want to help you.
Grease
You
the
know,
wheel. Yes.
yeah, yeah, grease the wheel. That's right. That's right. So when it's education, and I think that education should be looked at a little bit more in that way too. But it's just not publicized like athletics, So
So,
yeah,
from what I understand, what you're saying, as far as uh, well, let me just say this. Let me just say this.
okay.
When you typically, and I know this firsthand from talking to some people in college,
Mhm.
um,
Right.
when you're a star athlete on campus,
Mhm.
typically you don't focus on academics
Mhm.
that often
Mhm.
because they want you to focus on the next game. And this
That's
was
right.
before, colleges are now starting to pay their athletes before they took their
You're right.
likeness
Right.
and
Give them,
put it on
yeah,
everything.
put their like this and that. That's right.
Yeah. So with that being said, what usually happens is that you have somebody else handling your work when you're a star player.
Tutor. You got a tutor.
Yeah, you have somebody else handling your work. And I know people are like, oh, that's not true. Look, I'm telling you right now from firsthand, not me particularly, firsthand
That's right.
experience from knowing people that played, they have
Right.
people doing their work. they
That's
have
right. They
they
got
have
it.
people doing their work.
We call them tutors.
Yeah. They have people doing their work. So they don't have to worry about, focusing on school and stuff like that. It's the bare minimum for them to make sure they're eligible and they get to play.
And well, then why do some people don't even make that eligibility because of academic?
Well,
They're
sometimes look, as like I said, the star players.
not stars. That's right. That's right.
I
It's
think
a
that might
difference.
be
There's a difference.
this
It
is
is a
different.
difference.
Yeah, there's the difference. If they're the star
That's
player,
right.
quarterback, running back, receiver, somebody on the defense, somebody that is a name on
Yeah.
campus, they're more than likely they're going to have a tutor that's helping you.
Tutoring.
Yeah. So when you're not an athlete, you don't get as many of those privileges that somebody that that may be more athletically gifted than you are
Mhm.
during college, so you have to work harder. Where
Right.
you do have those people that work their way up to become a well named person like a walk on or something like that, or somebody who doesn't even get talked about in college and then ends up blowing up in the NFL because they worked their butt off. And they still got their education, so it's the double-edged sword. So now they know the business side as well as being an exceptional athlete in the NFL, the 1%. But
Mhm.
as far as it being, as far as that's concerned, a lot of it, from what I see, it is us. As far as the sports, like what is it, like 86%, or I forgot what percentage they said it was for like football. You wouldn't happen to know like the percentage off the top of your
I
head?
wouldn't. No. No.
But
No. No. But I know it's a high percentage.
yeah, it's
I
a
know
high
it's a high
percentage.
percentage. Yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying. And with that being said, it's like it's focused on the only avenue of getting out of poverty,
That's
and
right.
that in itself can be a problem. To where, once again, if you're not that star athlete and you're banking on trying to make a name for yourself or make it, quote unquote, make it, and you
Make
don't,
it.
then and you don't focus on the other things that are important. That
That's right.
as far as school, like some people, because it's so many different situations where somebody
That's
would
right.
walk on, they don't have a scholarship, so they gotta work their butt off working and going to school and doing football in college, or you may get the scholarship, but you're just another number because you're not the highest recruit. You're not that 5-star recruit. You may be like a
Right.
2 to 3-star recruit, and you still gotta focus in school. But even though you got recruited, you're like, oh well, I got recruited, so I don't have to worry about anything yet. No, homie, no,
Uh,
you got recruited because you have a potential
you
to
got
be
potential. You
yeah.
got potential.
But you're not the 5-star. You're not the 5-star that
No,
gets
you got
that
that.
gets
that
the campus tour and the flights and everything like. Mm-mm.
yeah. The little
Yeah.
stipends and all that. Yeah. But so in other words, it's not a realistic goal because you said 1%.
Yeah.
You're looking at like 1%,
Yeah.
and it's hundreds of thousands of athletes coming out of school, colleges born every every year.
Mm-hmm.
So um, it's there's nothing wrong with setting goals, but let's get more realistic. That's 1%, and then like you said, a lot of times it's kind of like a lottery. You born with some with these athletic abilities, height, strength, things you had no control over. You just happened to be the one that got it.
Right.
Everybody else has to work at it to get up to that level or just to compete. So and even with the people who won the lottery, physically wise, they don't even make it because a lot of times they just don't put the work in. Because as you going up in levels, you got to put more work in because there's more people like you as you go up.
Right.
So, how you going to stand out when you got somebody standing there just like you who won the lottery just like you? Different. So whatever that other person does is going to make a difference, and what you don't do is going to make a difference. So, but I and like when you said that 1%, and which is more realistic, that will make it to a professional sport at any level: baseball, basketball, football, boxing. The percentage is so low that it's great if you do and you pursue it and you give it your all, but it's not a realistic expectation that you will make it to that level.
Right.
That you can say, I can support my family, pull myself out of poverty based on this alone. Because I could tell you a million other people my age that thought the same thing, including me, and that didn't happen. That didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's just not realistic. But there's nothing wrong with going for it. Go as far as you think you can, but always have something to back up. You know, um, but I mean, when you said that 1%, that really that's more like it. It's about 1%.
Yeah.
Of the population who plays sport. You think about all the colleges, all these athletes out there. Track. They're ready. They're ready. They want it. So just like you do. So yeah. And I definitely am not going to see everybody who play collegiate ball make it in the pros. It's just the way it is. So,
And I would say the one thing that I actually appreciate now more
mhm,
than, and I'm sure you'll understand where I'm going with this, but
mhm,
during any televised college broadcast, when they
mhm,
highlight the potential star player, they're like, yeah,
mhm,
such and such from this school. And they
mhm,
show if it's a star player and it shows
mhm.
what course of study they're doing, what is the typical answer? I know you know where I'm going with this. I know you know where I'm going with this.
It's probably um, aerophysics.
No,
You
absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's usually like
It's
sports science,
sports.
sport,
That's right. Or
some
political science,
political
something like
science,
that.
something like that.
Yes,
I can
yeah, that's
appreciate it now that I think the last one I saw when they were talking about the star player, they said he was doing a double major, like I think I want to say biology and I want to say chemistry. It was something really ridiculous that, and he had a 4.0
that's right.
GPA, and I was just like, okay, so
Okay, okay,
all right,
okay.
I can
Hey,
appreciate that. This man has his stuff in order. So
so let me ask you a question about that. And I'm not saying this to belittle anybody or call anything in a negative light. What how based on what you know that particular we don't know I don't know who you're talking about,
mm,
but
this was a couple
based
years
on
ago.
that,
So
yeah, based on that, what type of household you think he came from?
that's a good question. I wouldn't be able to. I couldn't tell you to be honest with you, but
No, you
I
don't
would
know. What do you
assume
think?
I
What
would
would you think?
assume it was a inclusive home where the everybody was there present essentially. So that would be my guess.
That would be my guess too. I'm not saying that that couldn't happen from another circumstance or any other circumstance, but I would see either, and I'm just saying both parents, um, probably educated as well, both, if not at least one,
Mm,
and and probably his siblings in college as well, if he have any,
yeah.
or he could be the only child. So, um, but absolutely, and I'm not saying that you can't get this in any other home. I'm just saying, but when you said that to me, I pictured a certain dynamic, a typical family dynamic
Right.
when it came to him, and and it that's for another topic. But I mean, I could be wrong.
Mm,
I mean, I'm just asking you what thought about that. What
right.
type of family dynamic did you think that person would have? And we pretty much agree. That's what I would think. I'm not saying that's the case, but that's
Right.
what I would think. So,
Right. And it's just interesting. Like I said, I know the times have changed now, but go back 10 years. Like you said, you have the star athlete. They're taking more than likely the easiest classes so they can maintain eligibility to keep playing. Now you're starting to see more people. They're learning about the end game before they're even in the game, and which is a great thing for people
absolutely.
that are coming up in the system now. Because back then you didn't really have all that. So when people when people become famous and it gets to their head, then they don't know how to spend their money. They're not taught these lessons that are more available to people now. So when they get famous, they go in the league and like, hey, I got all this money, and then they're broke 2 years down, living surprisingly living paycheck to living NFL paycheck to NFL paycheck because they have all these other
Mhm.
people they got to pay off or not pay off but pay,
Or they got an
and
entourage.
that too.
Entourage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's just really interesting. I guess would be the best word to say, because
Yeah.
once you get to that level, you can tell the difference as well if you look back. Because I can name a handful of people, like athletes that were high profile athletes, and now they're broke essentially.
They're broke.
They're broke
They're
because
broke.
the fame got to them. They didn't know how to handle their money, and now they I mean, yeah, they have a name that people know, but they have nothing financially to possibly show for it.
That's right. And they had more than enough to live the rest of their lives comfortably.
Right.
And it's all gone. Um, yeah, it's and it just even with modern technology. It's still going on, right? I
Yeah.
mean, people still doing that. It's still
And it's more so
it's
them doing the wrong investments now compared to, well, I mean, it's still the wrong investments back then, but now
yeah,
there's
yeah.
more stuff.
Crypto money.
There's more stuff for them to invest in. Back then, I mean, you
Invest
may have
in
had like one or two
crypto.
things, but now you got like crypto, you got Bitcoin, you
Yeah,
got all this other
yeah,
stuff, and it's just yeah,
but the fame going to the head, that that starts very young because like you said, these were star athletes a lot of times since they were little kids in
hmm.
Bantam Lee, and then they go to the junior high, then high.
I would
I
say
mean,
it's
these
more
was
so high school, if anything. That's when
yeah,
I,
yeah.
at least that's when I notice it.
Well, yeah. Usually high school. That's when they start, getting the recognition and it gets all. So, and then they go to college and the collegiate stuff, and they treat it a certain way. So once they get to the NFL, absolutely, if you don't have somebody to keep you grounded, it will go to your head because everybody's been praising you all this time from, since you were in junior high. You probably was the tallest kid in ninth grade,
Yeah, the coach wants you to play on the
and
veteran, the veteran
that's
squad.
right, that's
Yeah,
right, that's right, that's right. So everything has been, pat on your back all the way up. Now you're in the big leagues, you're making millions. And yeah, your head's gonna be swollen. I'm gonna say swole. Yes, you're gonna have a huge ego, and I'm not saying everybody, but it's very easy to get there. It's very easy to get there, and the thing is, everything is for a moment. So you be on top, but you're not gonna always be there.
right.
You're gonna be the man. And and that's the thing to always let some of the air out. Just realize, just be humble, and know that I'm enjoying being recognized. I'm enjoying the fame and the money, but it's not going to always be like this. So I mean, if they keep that, I, I would hope if they keep that in mind, that can deflate some of that ego and that big head stuff. Invincible. Oh, I could do anything, and they end up doing everything and realize they can't do everything because they end up in jail.
Yep.
Doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Um, a young man, just signed a contract with the Raiders, went out, him and his girlfriend driving. He was drunk, killed a young lady. He's out of the league already. He's 20 some years old. One moment, one moment, one mistake. Sometimes people make 100 mistakes and nothing ever happens. But sometimes you only get one.
Especially at that
So
level, because
that's right.
they have people to look into everything. It's why you
That's right.
hear during like the scouting reports, like, oh, player has history of X,
Oh yes,
all this.
that's
It's
right.
like, wait, what? It's like, well, I didn't even know about that. So,
Yeah. Here's my roommate. I didn't even know.
so they
Yeah,
have
yeah,
you under a microscope when
yeah.
you're making your way into the league. Now, when you're in the
That's right.
league, they still have you under a microscope,
Let's go.
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
because they will find a reason to get rid of you in a heartbeat if it's something that is going to make them look bad.
But Jesus, yeah, yeah. You do stuff out there, and especially anything that's the hot item at that moment. If it's domestic violence, it's drinking, driving, if it's all those type things. Oh, you get that. That could be the end of your career. That's it. So, but like you said, this is $100 billion, multi-billion-dollar industry. They're not gonna mess it up for one person.
Right.
They gonna let one person take it down. Hey, the faster you can get in there, the faster you're out of there. So, yeah, yeah. So don't let the head get too big that you don't think you're untouchable.
Right. And I
You
think
know.
the main one, well, I think this one uh starts more so in college is
Mhm.
when you're that 5-star recruit. I'll just say this.
Mhm.
You get exposed to things that you probably wouldn't be exposed to when you're
That's true.
a 2 or 3-star recruit. Recruiting.
Or no recruit, or no.
Recruiting.
That's right.
Like
That's right. That's right.
there's
That's right.
stories out there that I'm sure you all will be able to find where people get recruited by other means other than talking to a coach. You know, whether it be with the female, like the cheerleader or something like that. You get that ego. You get on campus. The cheerleaders act like they don't know you. Then you're like, "What are you talking about? I'm the best thing. I'm the best thing smoking. I'm here on campus,"
Yeah.
and that leads you to problems. You know, like that,
That's right.
which could
That's right.
end up hurting your career. So there's
Yeah.
situations like that where they do happen.
That's right. Mhm.
It's not something that was just like, oh yeah, he just get talked to the coach. No, no, no. They have ways to
Nah.
recruit you. They have ways to recruit you. They will invite you to a party on campus to make sure you have the best time of your life, and then once you get there, you're just another number.
That's right. That's right. I mean, once they got you, they got you. You know.
Exactly.
You know. So that but okay. Now, what's the what would you look at as the downside of being an athlete
And being
at a higher level? You
oh,
know,
you just
it's,
automatically pegged as being dumb. Being dumb, you're just there for. I mean, you can't tell me I'm wrong. When you get there on campus, people are like, oh, he's an athlete. Yeah, he's probably dumb. He's just there to play sports
oh yeah,
and maybe
that's
make
stereotypical. That's
make his
stereotypical. Yeah,
make his
yeah.
money, whatever he's gonna do. Get a easy ride to whatever. Use his tie-ins to get him a easy job where he doesn't have to do anything, whatever the case may be. If he doesn't make it, that's usually the stigma around a
That's not necessarily true, but
well,
that
yeah,
is a
yeah, not
stigma. That is
necessarily
a
true, but
stigma.
that's the
That's
general
right.
stigma when you're on campus. Like, oh, you play sports, depending on who you talk to.
Right.
If you if you of course if you're talking to a young lady that you may be interested, she may
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
not the stuff you want to get involved with anyway. But in the heat of the moment, you
yeah.
might be like, oh man, she looks so good, and oh yeah, I play sports.
I would suggest any athlete that comes to the school collegiate level, get the girls out.
Yeah, yeah,
This because they're coming and hey, this is that ego. I'm gonna go back to that ego a little bit. You know who you are
right.
now, and you know this young lady. Now you know where you came from too,
Hmm.
and you say, "Oh, she interested in me." You really believe that? You really believe that?
That's the same thought process that got you there. That same process
See
that
what I'm
got you to
saying?
commit.
You see, and you got to really be true to yourself. You know, is that really what she's looking at?
Right.
You know, I'm just saying, just be true to yourself. I'm not. This is going for any young athlete out there, soon to be in the NFL, NBA, you know, MLBs or whatever. You know, whatever. I'm talking to you. You know, you got to be realistic with yourself. You know where you came from. You know where you're trying to go. And this particular person thinks you the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, just look in the mirror and just say, just be real. Let's be real with it. You know, so just be true to yourself. That's all I can say. Don't let fame and fortune override good judgment.
Right.
So,
But yeah, that's pretty much your typical downfall. Like that'll
mm-hmm,
be
mm-hmm,
your down. Let me say not downfall, but downside
yeah.
when you get on campus. Your world changes because there have actually I knew a friend of mine who went.
Right.
who I went to college with, when he got on campus, he was really highly recruited, sought after. The minute he got on
Right.
campus, everybody acted like they didn't know him. Like they were just like, "Who are you?" He was a. They did the tactics to get him on campus,
That's
and once
right.
they got him on campus, he's just another number until you work your
That's
way
right.
up. Like if you, he was, I think he was like a four. I want to say a 4-star
Yeah.
recruit,
For star?
4-star. So he
Yeah.
had, he had some momentum
Yeah. Yeah.
behind him and everything like that. But they used the tactics to get him on campus. He got on campus, and
Right.
now the coach did. He made his quota, or whatever the coach has to do to bring in the
Mhm.
recruiting class. Just another number. Just
But your school, I mean, y'all had a good, y'all have a good football program there. It's a pretty good football program. So yeah, to pull a 4-star, that's you doing something. You're doing
I
something. But
mean,
like you said, you said see how the tree was. So, like, it is what it is. So, but so so how? Well, let's say you do get there. You make it. You how what would you recommend somebody to prepare themselves when all that's over?
prepare before
What should
you.
they be thinking? Yeah, what should they be looking at
You should
when
be
they?
looking at preparing before you even think about the end. So the minute you get in there, find you somebody who's good with money, first of
Mhm.
all. So
Yeah.
somebody
Check,
that you can trust with your money.
check.
Somebody who's good. Money, finances, the same. They're all inside the same
That's right.
thing.
That's right.
Invest in things that are going to have a long term.
Check.
So be shark. Watch Shark Tank. See how they run things as far as when they're talking to people. If you need to know how to
Right. How much
negotiate,
you need your
negotiate
money?
things like
How you
that.
right? That's right.
Right.
That's right. How to
Um.
value your business? How you look at
Right.
the numbers? Okay. Yeah.
Um.
Mm.
Set aside. Set aside things for. Set aside a budget for when you're playing. Like for instance, and this was because I really I'm gonna be honest. I thought this player was just like a party boy, and that's Rob Gronkowski. I know you
Mhm.
know who that
Oh
is.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Sean, you heard how he does stuff?
he never
He
spent a
is awesome
dime.
with his money.
Yeah, he never
He
spent a
spent
dime.
a time.
I was like, wait, what? I thought he was go
Endorsement
out
money
partying.
only.
Yeah,
Endorsement money
yeah.
only. He lives off.
And I was
I
just
said,
like,
man,
yeah,
wow. I would never believe. And
yeah,
same thing. Party animal. See, that's a party animal.
yeah.
He
Just blowing through money. Come by.
blowing.
Nope, just spend endorsement money.
Nope.
Wait, what? No.
What? That's it. I live off my endorsement money. I don't even spend my career, football income.
Yeah.
They hadn't even touched it.
I was just like, oh,
Wow.
okay.
Wow.
There you go. There's another example of what you can do.
That's right.
He is a prime
I'm gonna
example.
I'm gonna bring him up, but yeah, I'm glad you did. Awesome. I mean, what more can you ask
Right.
to set yourself up financially than that? I mean, you making endorsement money and you got your income and you're banking your income and living off your endorsement money. I mean, what else? What else do you need to say? I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah. That's like a
Uh,
prime example of what to do. Like when you
that's right.
before you
That's
even
right.
get to the end game, he just right off the
That's right.
bat just living off of what his
Endorsement.
extra income, essentially living off his extra
That's
income.
right.
Didn't touch
Income.
anything that he actually made.
Right. And he signed some major
Oh
contracts.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
major, So and I mean, I think he treated himself to a chain, a gold chain one time.
Yeah.
He saw a chain that his friend had, and he bought himself one. I mean, so what I say, um, I know the famous thing in our community is I'm gonna get mama a house, buy mama a house,
Mhm.
you know, and that's all well and good. But why would you purchase a home that you know that the taxes and insurance is going to be more than what she can afford after your career is over.
Right.
So if you purchase her a home based on your income, then you're going to always have to pay for that home.
Right.
You need to buy your mom a home or get her one built based on her income.
Or what you do, I think it was,
Uh,
who was it? Donovan McNabb, where he had his mom in the soup
in
commercials.
his house?
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no,
Oh
no.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The baker
yeah,
order, yeah, every
bring
time.
her so she
That's her
has some
income.
income. So you do something like that, so that way you don't have to worry about that when you're finished playing. So you
That's right.
incorporate, like if you're gonna buy something for your mom. I think it's not even Donovan McNabb. There's another
There's
player
another
that
one that does that too.
um I can't remember his name, but you know who I'm talking. You know where
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
with that. There's another player
Right.
that does the same thing. Where it's just like, oh, I have my mom do commercials with me, so she has
That's
some
right.
extra money, so she can pay for
That's
whatever
right.
she needs
That's
to pay
right.
for. So
So
there's always a way to do it. It's just a matter of being aware of what you're doing, and with
what's your end game? What's the end game?
right,
What's your goal? I mean, and see the thing about it. That's why like you bring up Gronkowski. He he can leave anytime he feel like it. That's why he says sometimes he can retire, and then maybe Tom Brady talk him in to say, "Hey man, come on, do one more year with
right,
me, man, just one more," and then we go together. And then he'll say, "Okay, all right, I'll do it," but he don't have to.
right,
I mean, he said, you know. So what I'm saying is, don't set your your mom up to fail. What I'm saying, you getting her a house that you have to always take care of. You're gonna have to always provide the income so she can keep it. But your income might not be like that. Like you said, a lot of these players get there and they lose everything. They lose everything they had in 2 or 3 years. Now mom's out of house. Even the house you bought.
right,
Now she's out of that house because she can't afford taxes and insurance to maintain the house or the upkeep of the house. So it's very admirable for a young man or a young lady in sports to get something, buy their mom a nice house. Absolutely great. But always get the house that they can afford when you can't afford it for them. That even if you bought, so this is what I'm saying. You buy a house outright, you still got taxes and insurance you got to
right,
pay.
right.
So it's never really your house. But like I said, it's all well and good. But like I said, and I see so many times that they purchase these homes, and this tells me a lot how they're gonna manage their money because you're not thinking, you're reacting. You impulse. It's an impulse. Oh, I get my mom a house. I want the nicest house. I want this and all these cars and cars, the most depreciating thing you can purchase. Times you drive it off the lot, it goes down. You know, you put in material things. Let your money work for you, not just wear it.
Right.
Let your money work. So
And
uh,
also I would say you have some prime examples if you're on the come up as far as the NFL or any sport in particular. You have prime
that's
examples of people you can it maybe potentially talk to if you have the right people.
right.
Like you have Jordan. Jordan
That's
is
right. Yeah.
billionaire.
Marketing gene.
You
Yeah.
have LeBron,
Marketing.
another billionaire.
That's right.
You got Shaq who's
Yeah.
managed his money, who's
Oh, Shaq on every commercial, every time he turns on the TV,
it's
Shaq's.
like you got plenty of material to look at and
That's
people to
right.
talk to on how to set yourself up for the end game, because I know LeBron was
That's right.
making his money work while he's still playing. So
That's right.
it's
That's right.
like
So there's people out there.
I think it's
There's
like
people
unheard of
out there.
that you have a billionaire athlete still playing the sport, whereas most of the
That's
time when
right.
you're a billionaire, you're done essentially.
After, yeah,
Yeah,
you're after. Right, right. You made good decisions, and your money's working for you to get you up to that point. But yeah, like you said, LeBron, if he's there at that level, yeah, absolutely. He's done something that most athletes don't do. Become that level, build that level of income and still be playing and still be playing in the league.
Right.
It's like so yeah, it's but like you said, use the resources that are available. These guys will be willing to tell you they ain't got nothing to lose.
Right.
Telling you, you might want to go this route. Look at this, and that's the best source. Somebody who's doing it.
All right.
Don't listen to somebody who broke his. you know, uh, but I just every time you hear these guys making these big contracts, and the first thing they say, "I'm gonna buy mom a house,"
Right.
and I said, "Well, I wonder what the house is gonna look like." This is their first year in the league. They signed this big contract.
That aren't the
They
same
they don't
contracts as
know
they were, 10, 15 years ago, where you had like 60 million guaranteed off rip. Now you're only getting, maybe 10.
10. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's I just cringe when I hear that because I've heard that so many times, and then I see the end game with them, and they're broke.
Right.
They just lost millions of dollars, bad investments, entourage. You know, it's just partied it away. So it's just kind of sad. Um, and like you said, if you don't want to fall into that rut, talk to people who are doing what you want to accomplish.
Right.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure you could get. See, I can't meet those people, but if you're in that circle, you got access to
Yeah.
them. You
Everybody
got.
everybody
Uh,
reaches out to everyone. So eventually
that's
everybody
right.
knows
That's right.
everybody.
Right.
Uh,
So use make good use of your resources.
right.
So,
And
but
before we move on to our last topic, I just want to say if you are gonna have an entourage, help them get put onto something so they're not trying to get money off of you. Like put one of
oh
your boys
yes.
like LeBron, like what LeBron did with his best friend. Made him, I think it was
Mhm.
like a manager of his agency or something like
And
that.
okay, okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
I want to say that's his best friend. He's in
Mhm.
business with his best friend, and he made
Okay.
it. And his best friend's like it runs his agency, his player agency or whatever.
Right.
And that's like part of your entourage. So you did something to put your boy on, so he's not with you just living off of your money essentially.
Hey, LeBron got kudos for sticking with his high school sweetheart with me.
Right.
That told me a lot about him right there. I said this he at least he got his head on straight. Because they're coming after him.
Right.
They are. But he stuck with his I admire the man for that. And there's a couple other, professionals, football players and other sports stars that did the same thing, and I my hats off to them. That you know because I know that that's their best friend, and they kept them there, and they probably wouldn't be where they're at without that person,
Right.
and they didn't forget it. They didn't forget it. Hey, I'm telling you, it means a lot when they're that close for that long a period and through this whole process. That says a lot.
Right.
That says a lot.
Especially when you help them build. Like,
That's right.
yeah, you can pay off your friends, credit debt, stuff like that. That's all
Yeah.
well and good, but not saying you have to do something for them, but
No,
if they're part of your entourage and you guys are together every other week or something like that when you're in your downtime, do something for them that's going to help them get in a
growth
situ
in a certain yeah.
right in a decent spot so they can make their own money, and then so that way you all can go do stuff so you're not footing the bill for everything.
That's right. That's right. No, that's right. And think about it. Why you heard that saying, I don't need no more new friends. And that's true. Now, okay, let's say, okay, I got homeboys I grew up with that look, they couldn't be a part of my entourage because either they're going to get in trouble. I knew them.
Right.
I know. And certain group of people I know what they have to do is say, hey, just give them a little, some seeds and they'll make it grow. You know, and just hand a little bit of seed over here, and they'll make it grow. And now I got a group of people who making their own. And like you said, I got a group of people who got businesses. They're doing their thing, and we can socialize on equal terms. We know each other. But you get these people who not doing anything but and just waiting on you to give them some money. Nah, you don't need that.
Right.
You need to you need to let them go because they're not gonna guide you. It's just like a young man with the Saints who just got in trouble in Vegas. You got an entourage. Why are you even have to even touch somebody? Why you even have to get physical with anybody? These people are supposed to protect you from messing getting you in trouble. So your entourage is supposed to protect you, the one with the golden eggs,
Right.
producing the golden eggs. You got to protect them. Today's entourage, they like, go ahead, they don't care. They don't protect the person who's producing the gold. I don't understand that. It just doesn't make sense. I guess I don't know what that role. I guess the role has changed since these young people come into play. They think, they just enjoy the fruits with no labor.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I'm just going from what the common sense thing would be to do.
right. That's right. No,
Uh,
no, that's a good point.
but and so that leads us, I guess, to it really doesn't lead us, but getting on to our
Mhm.
last topic. But how do you avoid being labeled as a cliche? And
Just like what you said.
right, go ahead, if you want to go ahead and elaborate on that. It sounds like
No,
you're
no,
gonna.
like you said, talk to the people who doing it.
Right,
Who are making it. If you don't want to be that person that blows all your money, you're in the league 10 years, all the aches and pains and the stuff you suffered through and broke in 3 years, 3, 4 years, well, you need to talk to somebody who's doing it,
right,
who's making $1 billion while they're playing, who's making, a billionaire while they're, once they left the league, you know, Gronkowski, say, oh man, shoot, I know what he did. You should know what he's doing. You know, why don't you just at least try it?
right.
Maybe, maybe you can make it work for you. So, I mean, everything you were saying, yeah, I mean, that can prevent you. And just like I said about, get your mom the house, but make sure you get it so that she can afford to take care of it just in case you're not able to make those payments.
Yeah.
So she'll never lose her home. It's just things like that. It's just really common sense and live below your means because you're one game, one play away from your career being over.
I mean that's pretty much a statement that was said to our group.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you're one play from being the next man up. Essentially, that's what coaches always say. You're one play away from being the next man up. It's the same thing for when you're in the high end. You're one play away from it being over, so you're not making that money anymore.
That's right. That's right. One play. I mean, you can be on top of the world, then one play leg, because, a lot of guys had potential coming into the league, had 2 or 3 good years, got injured, pulled hamstring or some aggravating injury. They're not in the league anymore.
Right.
So they're not broke yet, but if you don't have means to maintain, or you living at the level of that big contract, you're not going to be able to keep that because you're not bringing that kind of money in.
Right.
So, you know, so what do you think? I
I
agree
mean,
with you. I think you nailed it. But
there's really nothing else to be said. Like it's just about using your resources and being smart with your money that you
mhm.
may be potentially making. Like, don't get me wrong, like we use those high profile athletes as examples, but there's also people that have retired that, still have their money. Like, for instance, Calvin Johnson. That's the guy who just he went quietly into the sunset. You don't see
Oh
anything,
yes,
you don't
yes,
see anything
yes.
about him being broke or anything like that. He managed his
He left
money.
on top of his game. He was
Yeah,
top of his game when he left.
top of
Just
his
like
game, just
what's
I'm out.
what's the running back for Detroit as well? Barry
Barry
Sanders.
Sanders. Yeah.
Oh man, you see the highlight reels from Barry? Oh
Yeah.
man, he left on. He still had. I'm saying 5 years to nobody really touched him. I mean, he was just. Oh man, it was awesome to watch him run. But like you said, it's just play the game to win. And if you play football or any sport to win, play the game of life the same way with the same passion. Play to win. And winning is using the best of your resources. If you got money, it's not necessarily say you have to have investments. You could just live off the interest. Some of you got big enough contracts to live off the interest for the rest of your life. And that still and then that falls short. You got $100 million contract, and then 3 or 4 years, you 5 to 10 million in debt. That doesn't uh, just. I know it happens all the time,
Right.
and people go through it. I, I don't know. Uh, uh, you know, I'm just going to be straight. Having millions of dollars, I don't know what investment. And then, if for me, I will have to know money. If I'm have that kind of money coming in, I have to manage or maintain. I have to learn about money personally, not just relying on somebody else that knows about money. I got to start learning about money. I got to start learning how money works, what invest. I know people like to trust people, and people should do their job. You should be able to trust people, but you do have time to learn.
Right.
And learning is a lifelong process. It's not, after college, it's over. You can keep learning about money. You can take a course here, take courses there, money management courses. So don't let your education stop just because you start making money. And especially when you got these assets sitting here that need to be managed and you relying on somebody else to do it without any checks. And that's a lot of times these guys lose their money in that way. People steal the money right from them,
Right.
you know. So uh, that's another way. Keep learning, and like you said, finances. Learn how to manage your own money. That way, even if you don't manage it, at least you know how it should be done.
Yep. I mean, there's nothing else I need to say. Like, this was a good topic, and I was ready to get into this one. So it was
Right, right. So,
a lot of my I guess realm of
right.
expertise. So
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You did good. You beat me up on the football thing, but the sports and the big point, which led into the topics we were talking about, is the money. It's the money. It's a business. It's a business. It's a sport, but it's a business.
Yep.
and that's the side of it that's missed. Um, this is big money business too. uh,
Ain't nothing to bat an eye at.
that's right. That's right. But no, I appreciate the conversation, and you look like you know a little bit about some sports.
Yeah, I try a little bit. Try a little bit to educate y'all old people thinking we don't know
That's
anything.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, that powder puff football, yeah, it's similar.
Powder puff football at your expense.
Well, man, hey, you take care, young man, and it's been a pleasure. See you
Always.
next week.
Yes, sir. We're out of here. Later, everyone.
All right. Peace.